Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and yes, it is that time once again. The World Tournament is back on Global and starts again tomorrow morning, or I guess this evening, depending on where you are. It's 6:30 AM for me, 10:30 PM PST for US. But yeah, the 40th World Tournament, everybody's favorite game mode. So every time there's going to be a World Tournament, I always do a video talking about the rewards and whether I think it's worth actually trying to go for like the new unit and stuff like that. So we're going to jump right in with the 40th World Tournament. So this is the release of this STR youth form baby, he's called, just straight up baby on his own. We get an awakening for the old int android 18 unit as well. She's pretty decent. So this is her here, int types key 2, attack and defense 80%, not the craziest leader skill, but could be useful in Battlefield or something like that if you are free to play. She does supreme damage to the enemy, raises attack and defense by 30% for 3 turns, so she can stack this up a couple of times. So if you do get additionals, obviously she could be looking pretty good. Her stats are attacking, well, her passive stats, attack and defense 100%, plus an additional attack and defense 80% for 3 turns after receiving an attack. High chance to evade enemies' attacks, so she has 50% chance to dodge built in, plus an additional attack 180% for 3 turns after evading an attack. Interesting. So she's kind of like the STR Videl in the sense that on her best turn, you want her in slot 1 to take a hit and dodge a hit. Although both of them are active for 3 turns, so you do get a little bit of leeway that way. So if she appears on the first rotation, you put her in slot 1 and she dodges every attack, she's going to have the attack buff activate. And then on the next turn, if you put her in slot 1 and she gets hit, then the attack and defense 80% is going to activate, but she's still got the 180% attack from the previous turn. So on that turn, she is going to have a lot of attack, and considering she's already super attacked on the previous turn and gotten the first of those 30% buffs off of her super attack effect, then she could be looking pretty good. I'm actually quite interested to try her out. Obviously, she's just a normally named Android 18, so she's probably going to fit best on the Android team, since you're going to have to run her with different Androids. Obviously, same name update can't link up with the units with the same name, but she should fit very nicely onto the Android team. She's on Peppy Gals, Majin Buu Saga, Siblings Bond, Worthy Rivals, and Battle of Wits as well. But obviously, to take advantage of her link set, you're probably only going to be using her on Androids or Siblings Bond with some of the other Android units, potentially Peppy Gals, but I don't think there's an Android 18 on Peppy Gals who isn't just called Android 18, so she won't have a great link partner. Oh, of course there's 21, so, could be pretty interesting. So she looks good. She is an awakening for a previous World Tournament reward, so if you didn't do the World Tournament where she was available, I'm not sure if she's in the ticket SSR pool yet. I'm assuming she is. But yeah, looking forward to trying her out. And then, of course, the reward is the Youth Form Baby. So this is the one you will be going for if you do the grind. Of course, he is only an SSR that goes up to level 100. So he will become a UR, so you do have access to the dupe system. But he won't have a Dokkan Awakening. And judging by the trends that we've been seeing, it's probably not going to be for at least a year, potentially 2. So be interesting to see how long that takes, because he's going to be the only youth form baby in the game that isn't just like a random SR, as far as I know. And he does seem pretty interesting. They've started stepping these up a little bit, I think, because they know that they're not going to awaken for so long. Like the Tech Gohan, Tech Super Saiyan Gohan from a couple of World Tournaments ago is a really good example. He's super, super good. Because this guy, his leader skill is pretty trash, even for a free-to-play. It's only 50%. But his super attack effect, he greatly raises defense for 1 turn. So it's a 50% defense raise. Does supreme damage to the enemy, and he lowers attack. So obviously that can be useful in things like Super Battle Road. And then his passive, attack and defense 100%. He gets an additional attack and defense 100% and launches an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super, so that's 70%, when facing a pure Saiyan or hybrid Saiyan enemy. So obviously, just like STR Cooler, that's like, 70% of the game, if not more, especially on Global when we don't have the red zone, where there are 2 Saiyan bosses, of course, but not as many as the harder events we've got on Global at the moment are against pure Saiyan enemies. So obviously that's where you're going to want to run him the most. I would imagine running him in an event where you're not fighting a pure Saiyan enemy, he's definitely not going to look super impressive. But yeah, again, that 70% chance to launch an additional super when he greatly raises defense. So if you get dupes for him, he doesn't have any crit built in aside from the level 5 he gets from being an STR unit. So I probably would go a mix of crit and additional, but probably leaning more towards additional, because any turn where he double supers, double greatly raising defense, like he's going to be pretty solid defensively against a Saiyan or Hybrid Saiyan enemy. And he is on Transformation Boost, Artificial Life Forms, Terrifying Conquerors, Target Goku, Revenge, Inhuman Deed, Space Traveling Warriors, GT Bosses. He's got link partners like a lot of the other baby units, so like even Baby Janemba, the LR Baby, who hopefully will get an easy A sometime soon. We still need a Dokkan Fest Baby, but he'll be pretty good. And then the last part of his passive that I didn't read out, recovers 20% HP at the end of the turn in which attack was received. So I feel like on some of these teams, he'd be really good if you don't have like a full team, or you just need an extra unit to go there that will kind of hold their own a little bit, because I feel like his defense will be pretty good. You could use him on that team as a third slot floating unit, so he's only ever being attacked after he's supered. So his defense is going to be pretty good, and again, against a Saiyan or Hybrid Saiyan, it's going to look real good, especially with an additional super. So then if he takes a hit in slot 3 and doesn't really take, you know, any damage because he's raised his defense up so high, you're then getting 20% of your HP back. And considering the teams that we're rocking on Global at the moment, category teams, obviously, you know, without the 200% leads, but we still got HP totals of like 400, 500k. So this could be almost 100k healing at the end of the turn, which is pretty good. So be interesting to see how he works out. His links aren't the best. Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, Coward, GT, Hatred of Saiyans, and Nightmare. But even like, you know, Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, Nightmare, those are a bit more common on the villain teams that he's on. One thing to note, of course, is he's not on Corroded Body and Mind, because he is the baby, like, parasite. So obviously, when he possesses somebody, he is the thing that is corroding their body and mind, which is why they're on the category. So he on his own is not on there, which is a shame, because that is a category that does still need a lot of buffs. So in terms of whether or not it's worth going for him, obviously with the way the tournament rankings work, if you want to go to fully max him out, finishing in the top 5,000 is going to give you 3 copies of him. So you want to get the top 1 to 2, well, it's 1001 to 2000 to get 4 copies, because quite a few world tournaments ago, they added a mission where, based on your score, once you got to, is it 23 million, you get a copy of the card. So you'll get that straight away, and then obviously you have to wait until the rewards are actually handed out at the end to get the rank rewards. So you get 1 copy for free, and then by finishing in the top 2000, you're going to get those 4 copies that you need to open his paths. He doesn't have a farmable super attack. He only has that summonable SR that I mentioned. And since it's probably unlikely that you've been keeping those, you're probably not going to be able to level up his super attack very easily. So fortunately for me, for the sake of showcasing him, I do have a lot of Kais. Maybe it's a bit of a waste, considering I don't know how often I'll run him after we check him out for that video. But, you know, I'll have an SA10 Rainbow showcase for him, because I'm not going to go super hard in this one personally, but I will still aim to finish in the top 2000. Obviously, the higher you finish, the more copies of the card you get. And if you finish in the top 1000, that's when you start to get orbs, which is obviously a really, really good extra reward. So how high you go, you know, it's going to be... I feel like this one will probably be a bit of a grind, because Global has been dead. You know, the Trunk celebration is all well and good, but it's the main part of it's over now, and we're all kind of just waiting to see what Saiyan Day is going to bring. So this one might be a little bit more busy than the previous one, which was on like New Year's Eve / New Year's Day. So, you know, funnily enough, it was very, very quiet in terms of competition. But I think Baby is pretty decent. I wouldn't go too crazy on this one to try and get a copy of him. I do think he is going to be pretty good, but with the teams that he's on, I feel like there are a lot of better options for him, especially when you consider his links and everything. So I think he's going to be a fun unit to try out, but I wouldn't grind super hard for him. And then obviously remember, we are still in the era of General Tao as the local reward. This will be the first world tournament where, depending on how you've placed in the previous ones, you will be able to rainbow him. If you finished first in your local in both of the previous world tournaments that he was from, you will have a copy with 3 dupe paths open. So this is the first world tournament where you're going to be able to actually get a Rainbow Star General Tao. So Good thing for me, I did finish first in the last two, so if I do want to go, you know, a lot softer on this World Tournament, I literally only have to finish in the top 150 local to get that one copy, so that's going to be all good. Like I said, I'm not going to be going too crazy on this one. I'm thinking about it now, I really should have link leveled him ready for this last copy to come out, but I'll do a rainbow showcase for him, and we'll see what he's looking like. So, yeah, that is the 40th World Tournament. Those are the two new cards. We do have a card being added to the like Dragon Ball Saga banner, but summoning on this banner is super annoying because you can't do multis. So I have so many tickets for it, but it's just really annoying to sit there and do multiple singles, especially when you pull a bunch of like Rs and SRs in a row. But this Piccolo Jr. actually seems like he could be pretty interesting because he is called Piccolo Jr. So he does have a different name for that Namekian team, which is kind of interesting. I know I say the Namekian team like anybody really runs it, because that team is in desperate need of some help. But he could be an interesting addition. He raised his defense for 1 turn on super, does supreme damage, and has a high chance to stun. Gets attack and defense 100%, additional attack and defense 100% when facing a Turtle School category enemy. So that's interesting. So basically any event where there's a Goku, there will be a few where like Krillin is there or Roshi on like some Super Battle Road stages, which he could be quite useful in because he has a chance to stun. So I wonder if they do a Namekian stage for SBR at some point, whether they'll include Turtle School enemies specifically for this guy, which would be interesting. He also gets 200% attack when performing a super, and stuns the attacked enemy for 2 turns from the 3rd turn only. So I think this part is from the 3rd turn only as well, which is kind of interesting. So from turn 3, he's getting a big attack buff, which is kind of weird, because for weaker, or I say weaker, but like free-to-play units, longer form events is where they need to be really good defensively if they're going to be usable. So the fact that he only gets an attack buff after 3 turns is kind of strange. Because Super Battle Road, again, like stunning, he has a high chance on super, but getting a guaranteed stun, like on turn 3, you're probably going to be close to being finished, although this can help you set up an easy finish, right? So if he's attacking in slot 1 and there's no other attacks, you can make sure you're not getting attacked to finish off that last enemy that turn. But seems like he could be interesting. The problem, of course, especially when we think about the Dragon Ball Saga team, or the Namekian team, sorry, he does have the Dragon Ball Saga team, like, links. He has Incredible Adventure, Guidance of the Dragon Balls. He's got some wonky links. He has big bad bosses, which is interesting. I don't think the Transforming Giant Form Piccolo Jr. has big bad bosses, so I don't know if he even links up all that well with him. He's probably going to be his best link partner, because he doesn't exactly share a ton of links with other, like, Piccolos or anything, so very interesting to see what he is going to be looking like. He's on a lot of teams: World Tournament, Namekians, Terrified Conquerors, Target Goku, Revenge, Gifted Warriors, Entrusted Will, Worldwide Chaos, and Battle of Fate. The problem is, on a lot of those teams, he's not going to have like crazy link partners. So it will be interesting to see what he's like. But yeah, he's just a unit that's going to be available from the Dragon Ball Saga banner. But let me know what you guys think of these new units. Are you going to be grinding in the World Tournament? Be interesting to see where Toon will place this time, because I'm sure, as usual, he will post on Twitter saying that he's not going to try this time and then finish in the top 100 anyway, or whatever. So be interesting to see. I'm not going to be aiming too high, just probably for the top 2,000 so I can rainbow the baby. So let me know what you guys are planning to do. I will probably stream some at some point over the weekend. I'm going to spend a lot of the weekend playing Elden Ring, but I'll probably make some time to stream the World Tournament, just because it's more fun to stream it. It makes it less of a boring grind for me, because obviously hanging out with you guys in the chat makes it a lot more interesting. So keep an eye out on the channel for that, if that sounds interesting. I know people like to hang out in streams while they're also grinding, makes it a little bit less boring. So, but yeah, let me know what your guys' plans are for the 40th World Tournament on Global. So that's going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.